Now, Kyle,
Right.
can I talk to you about the youngest bill of the Bill of Rights?
Yes, I was gonna say you promised us one bonus one too.
Yes. So the bill, as I've said before, the Bill of Rights originally was 12 amendments. One of them, the congressional apportionation amendment, which had to do with, as we talked about last episode, about how many, what's the minimum amount of people can be in the House of Representatives. That never passed. It can still pass. If you guys all want to get together, we'll try and get it passed.
This is what we're about to talk about now. Is what happens if you do get together and do that, right?
Yes, and you get to see on a paper.
What?
This is a good story. This is
Okay,
I'm
all right.
excited, Kyle. I'm excited. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm very excited. So the youngest Bill of Rights was passed almost exactly 200 years after all the other Bill of Rights were passed in 1791.
That's wild.
So there's something called the Congressional Compensation Amendment. I'm going to read it to you. This is the original text that was introduced to states in 1789. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. What a weird word to use, intervene.
Yeah,
there.
what does that mean?
What they're basically saying is that if Congress votes to give itself a raise, the raises don't go into effect
They
until
have to
next
make it through another
cycle.
election cycle?
Yeah. But the way it's worded is kind of cool.
Okay.
The senators who serve for 6 years can get a raise. It won't go in effect till the reps come back through. But they're still in there.
Oh, that's tricky. That sounds like a little loophole they allowed to pass
Loophole.
through. Sounds
I
like
get
what
the
we need
log-
to be writing up is close that one up.
Yeah. Well, what I do like, though, is I think their logic is the House has to vote on it. So at least the people in the House will take the loss. So there's in 1982, there's this 19-year-old Gregory Watson. He got a C on a history paper that he was arguing because he basically he went and did some research. He had to write a paper about how the Constitution worked.
Yeah.
And he discovered that this amendment, this would have been the Second Amendment if all the original Bill of Rights passed. This would have been the Second Amendment. So
That's a weird one to be number 2.
Yeah, right. It's kind of funny though. I kind of like it. Like I kind of like, hey, before we do everything else,
Freedom of the press, but let's take care of the money thing here. Okay.
Well, the freedom of the press probably would have been the Third Amendment. The first one would be the reappropriation one, which is very funny. The first thing is how many of these you have, and how do we pay them?
That just shows you like what really was at the forefront of like who. Yeah, that's funny.
I find it interesting. So it's 1982. He's 19 years old. He turns in this paper arguing that this amendment can still be ratified, and he hands it to the TA, and the TA's like gives him a C. He then takes it to his professor, Dr. Waite, and she reviews it and goes, "This isn't impressive at all. This is just a normal paper. C stands." He's like angry, so he starts writing like every rep. This is university. He was at the University of Texas, Austin. He starts writing every rep across the country, every governor, anybody who will listen to him. This is still ratified. We should ratify this because
I want an A.
Yeah, because people shouldn't be able to get raises until they should follow this. And he goes, eventually it was a rep for Maine, I should say a legislative delegation for Maine, calls him back and is like, "Hey, this is interesting. Is this real?" And he goes, "I think it's real. This is once an amendment gets sent to the states, it exists forever,
right?
Until they vote it down and ratify it. There was never any vote on it." But he was really doing this, A, because he believed in it. There's a good joke, he wanted the A, but he believed in it.
Yeah.
And he wanted to prove that he was correct. Well, at the time, 9 states had already ratified it, so he needed 29 more states, which is wicked funny.
That's
because
wild.
That's more states than existed than when they offered this to the states to ratify.
Yeah.
So there was 13 states when they did this. At this time, there's 50.
Right.
But he needed 29 more states. It's like, that's how cool the Constitution is.
Yeah.
Mid-process, it can adapt itself to the times.
Huh.
So
That's wild.
so he campaigns for an entire decade on this. And on May 5th, 1992, this became the 27th Amendment. 200 plus years after it was introduced. 201 years after the Bill of Rights was codified. The last amendment of the Bill of Rights makes into the Constitution over a dozen further from the last one.
1992. So this is 10 years after his paper is turned in. Did he get his A? Tell me he got his A.
And that's what I wanted to know. In 2007, Dr. Waite, she was in her 70s, she signed an official letter changing his grade to an A.
That's amazing. I hope he sent that back to the college and made them actually update his entire transcript.
But there you go. There's the Bill of Rights. The 11 amendments.
Yeah, who would have thought, huh? Who'd have thought that the Bill of Rights didn't get finished until 1992? And
awesome.
It wasn't like women's suffrage or, like the 19th or one of those amendments, too. This is senators' pay rates and when those take effect.
It's I don't know. It's a good story. The more you read the Constitution, the more you love the Constitution.
What's funny is that of the trivia questions you suggested is what should be like. How is that not a trivia question?
That's a good trivia question.